So, hello guys, I just want to, it's kind of an uncut video and I will also upload it on my channel. And I just want to, talk about mindset a bit because if I'm gonna be honest, if you're right now in, just like, let's say, like me, just starting out with your business and you just kind of feel like nothing is working out. It's just kind of in this realm where you're basically thinking, why am I even doing this? Why did I don't know, like, quit my hobby for that and now do business? Or basically just thinking about even regretting this opinion even in the first place, and why wasting time and all of that. And I say this because I also have these feelings right now. And if I'm gonna be honest, I just want to, sit down a bit and talk about this because these are things that are very important to me, because I'm personally very passionate about this, and, just want to have a good talk, very uncut right now. It's, I'm like reaching out right now, or even like working, I don't know, like 10-hour days. I mean, like literally, if I get home, I'm just working, after 9 hours of work. I'm trying to be as efficient with my time as possible. My daily schedule is around, how can I say it? Like I'm at work from 6 to 3 p.m. and then I'm just, posting like 2 videos a day for my, for my business, for my shadow operating business, where I just, take content creators to basically make them money. And, and I do like around 3 hours of outreach a day. But yeah, if I'm gonna be honest, the last days have been kind of, a punch in the face, if I'm gonna be honest, because, doing this and, I mean, obviously I get some responses, but, obviously I'm also at the beginning of kind of my journey, but, it's always kind of these feelings where, because I've already posted this video where, I'm from gaming, and I always also, still have these feelings where, why did I even quit in the first place? Why am I, even doing this? Because, I see others succeed with, normal jobs, normal goals, everything. And, I'm kind of at the point where, like, I'm not like even saying I'm gonna quit or something like this, but I'm like kind of in a phase where I don't know if you resonate to this, but where I'm doing like everything I can. It's like I'm standing up, going to work like 6 to 3, and then I'm like sleeping like 6 hours a day or seven. I've rather seven, yeah, definitely 7 to 8 a day, and just like as I said, my schedule as usual, and that's just my everyday life for like the past, I don't know, like 2 months. Yeah, 2 months, and yeah, nothing has like done it. I'm like right now at it. I was very, shy at the beginning with, showing myself, and also like with these talks, but I think it's kind of important to, just shit on your fear, if I can say it like this, and just, know that, if you're limiting yourself with your fear, then you're obviously never gonna even achieve anything, because, yeah, I mean, how can you win if you limit yourself, while the other ones are don't, while the other ones are not limiting themselves. And, I'm just right now about to read my book again, but as I said, I had some, doubt, if I'm gonna be honest right now. And it's just, it's right now very challenging for me to go over this and still be able to, do this 3 hours a day, posting 2 times a day and everything, because I want to, obviously, for my shadowing operating account to just have some videos on it. And yeah, it's very busy. It's very busy. I want to basically, my plan is right now with, this content creation even is, maybe, I'm not talking about this content creation right now. I mean, with this is obviously my goal, if you're right now also in this similar scenario where, you don't know what you want to do, or you don't know what you are even doing in the first place, I can say to you, me too. I mean, I joined the program from Monetize. It gave me like a kind of a vision, but yeah, I mean, obviously, you always have to do it yourself, so you can never say you're knowing what you're gonna do, because right now I'm just doing outreach with kind of what I think is right. Like, I don't know if it's right in the right sense, but I mean, yeah, it's kind of shit right now. I mean, my messages get responses and everything. It's not that bad, but it's just, I'm doing it so long every day, and I just think kind of, after 2 months that I kind of have to get like a client at this point. Like, but I mean, you never can decide it on your own. You have to always just keep working and just, put your trust in the process or in God itself to, give you kind of the expectations that you have right now, because, your expectations that you have right now don't matter. And you always see this because, for example, for me is, I had this expectation that I will close like my first client in the like first month, 2 weeks, and now I'm like 2 months in, and it's kind of reality checking me a bit, like actually punching me in the face and just telling me that it's not that easy as it looks, or it's not that as, how can I say it, no-brainer as it looks. And what I also realized about me is definitely, my biggest problem is if somebody tells me, it's this new idea and it's this new idea, and I'm not saying like monetize is a bad idea, because I never said that. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a great idea, but it in general, I'm always, I don't know if you, again, if you resonate with this, but for me, knowledge is like the best thing I can do basically. And that's why my biggest problem is always when I have money, or when I, spare some money, I'm always, seeing this new software, this new course that can be bought or something like this. And I always think, not like at the new shiny object, not like this type of thing, but, always like, I mean, my mother said it herself, I'm always trying to pay for something that I can like, not like search on my own, but it's kind of this weird scenario on my end where I always buy courses and everything, but for example, right now I thought about buying like not another course, but for outreach, buying some things again. And that is also like the reason why I've kind of, I don't know what to do, is because, I always, as I said, just want to buy courses. I don't know why I'm like addicted to this, or I really don't know. But I don't know what my brain is always thinking with this, to always buy the new opportunity, new opportunity, new opportunity. And yeah, that's kind of what the message is a bit. It's, if you feel lost, or if you feel, like wanting to quit, or kind of, I don't know, in this scenario, like you always have to think about, that's what I always tell me, you know, it's always the, you know, why did you even start in the first place? Obviously, you know, you always have to mental check yourself. It's very important to be, you know, mentally strong, to be, yeah, to not quit, guys. It's a game about time, and you always get a reality check because, you know, you always get told this, that you are gonna make like 10K in the next, you know, like 3 months, or like the next 5 months, or I don't know, like the next week or the next month, I don't know. But you know, oftentimes like life reality checks you so hard and you don't know it yet, but you know, it's actually very hard. I know I'm like, my face expression is like very, you know, not like cold, but you know, I'm not like expressing it as hard as I can, because I'm not that kind of guy, if I'm gonna be honest. But you know, obviously I also have, you know, some doubts about myself, or you know, when my mother asked me, you know, like sometimes, you know, like, how is it going, you know, do you think you can make money from it? You know, it's always very hard to answer these questions, if I can say it like this, because you know, like, I don't know if I'm gonna make money from it and like actually, you know, like retire from my job and everything. And yeah, the biggest point what I think is like the hardest to deal with is, you know, like you see everybody, like, how can I say it? It's, you see everybody going like way past your stage right now, and you know, I'm getting like a bit emotional right now, if I'm gonna be honest. But you always see like these guys, you know, like being past your stage, and for me, it's like that. You know, you always think, yeah, am I wasting my time? And there's, you know, the scenario again where, you know, am I wasting my time, you know, in this scenario? And, you know, unfortunately, this is where I am right now, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't know if I'm wasting my time right now, or if I'm just, you know, going at what God is like actually, you know, called for me or for my life. And yeah, that's just kind of the scenario. I don't know if what I'm doing is actually right. And, you know, if I look at the other guys, I'm like so far behind everybody, you know, from a real perspective, and just don't know if this is like actually, you know, like if it eventually, you know, will turn out to work out for me, or you know, be worth my time, be, you know, achieve my goals. And yeah, I was kind of a, you know, like just kind of a real talk session, if I'm gonna be honest, like 40 minutes. And I just wanted to deep dive a bit into, you know, mindset, or you know, what I think about it a bit. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you either, you know, saw your why, or you know, I just can tell you, like, you need to keep pushing. You need to keep pushing. I'm keep pushing too. So you have to. You have to too. But yeah, thank you for watching. And I'll see you in the next video again, where I will show you my, you know, my time in the course, and what I did and everything about that.